Hello. I just thought I would, hi, beautiful. Hi, Dark Prophet. Oh, I just thought I would come on a little bit early for a couple of reasons. One, I just kind of wanted to chop it up with you guys. Two, I guess I just wanted to chop it up with you guys. I guess there's only one reason why I did it. There aren't multiple reasons why I came on early. So as you guys can see, Tonya Tko is coming on here today. It turns out we're actually going to be doing this in two parts. So today is going to not be super long. It's going to just be an introduction. She's being really gracious because she actually, I promise you, if anybody agrees to come on my channel for an interview, they're going to get sick. So she does not feel the best, and she's in New York right now. But she's so sweet. She's like, but I'll do it. She's like, I'm vibrating really low. I don't feel the best, but I'm totally down to do it. So we're going to do something small today because she needs to engage in some self-care. And then we're going to do something more substantial in part two. Okay, so we'll have a little teaser today, and then we'll get to the nitty-gritty of it when she's at full force, which I am absolutely looking forward to. And it will also give you guys an opportunity to get your questions together. If she decides she's down to do like a Q&A, you guys can be prepared with that. And so yeah, I'm really excited about that. But in the meantime, in between time, technically this was not supposed to start until 4. So I'm just gonna chit chat with y'all. I think I'm going to be putting up a couple of videos tonight. One is going to be dealing with the woman, I don't know if you guys heard of her, that had her child ripped out of her arms by like 6 or 7 cops. Honestly, the videos was really hard for me to watch. Like, I had to kind of back down off the video because it was sort of upsetting for me to watch it. So, I mean, we're going to have to watch it together, which is just going to be flippin' unfortunate, but you know, stuff happens. So yeah, be looking forward to that. In the meantime, while we're waiting for Tonya to get here, I sent her the link, but again, this does not start quite yet because I started it early just so we could kind of talk to each other. There are 20 of you I see. So if you could all 20 push the like button, that would be very beneficial. Okay, if all 25 of you will push the like button, that would be very beneficial. That way when Tonya gets here, because this is going to be in 2 parts, as many people as possible can benefit from this introduction. So I would appreciate that, because that's how everybody sees it that is subscribed, is they see it through the likes. So I want to make good use of her time, and I want as many people to be present as are wanting to be present. And so that is why I'm asking for that. Hi, Frantonio. Hello, Paul. Hi, Mr. Hi, Bay. Hello, Little Miss Chocolate. Why, thank you. Why don't I mod you since you're doing mod stuff? Oh, wait, I can't mod you there. Hold on. Let me mod you on here. How are you guys doing? Make sure that we are, please, pushing the like so that when Tonya comes on, I can let as many people see her as possible. So for those of you who didn't hear, Tonya suggested to me today to do this in 2 parts. So today will not be extensive. It will be an introduction, and then she will come and do like a longer, more energized version because she's not feeling the best, but she's super sweet and she just wanted to obligate her commitment, which is very generous of her because that's hard to do when you don't feel well. So I appreciate that. But hold on, I've never actually used a control room. Let me go to the live control room. Let's see what that is. Hi, Marcella. Hello, K King. Tiana. Twilla. Is it Twilla or Twila? Hi, DJ Moss. Yes, I like her too. I like her too. I really do. I'm happy that she's coming on. Obviously, her channel is huge, so I'm not doing her any favors by having her here. And she, like I said, she doesn't feel the best, but she's like, I will come on. She's like, let's do the intro, and then I will use the intro, and I will publicize it on my channel. And that's like, that's very kind of her. That's very generous because I really like her. You know, I enjoy watching her videos. And so I was excited to be able to have her on because I think that she's so insightful and she says things that I have never, like, just that had never occurred to me. And so that's why I like it so much. And I'll ask you guys all again, because I started this stream early, if you guys could all please push the like button so that people can filter in the room, so that when she comes, we have as many people here as possible so that they can all get the full time that she's here. Because again, this interview is going to be in 2 parts. Today is not going to be super long. It's just going to be an introduction. And then the next one will be more substantial. And so if you guys can think of questions you want to ask her, or anything like that, have them ready for part 2, because that's going to be the time when she will take questions if she decides to do that. So just some food for thought. Hold on. Okay, so live control room. What is going on in here? Oh, I see you. Dope. Look at that. You've been modded. All right, let me look at the chat now. Oh, I can see the chat up there now. That's crazy. I like this. Indeed, indeed. Yeah, she is a really good motivator, Paul. That's what I was telling her. I was like, there's a lot of crossover, I feel like, between like certain channels. Like, I think some people just vibe a certain way. So I know when I was on Nyla's panel earlier, there were people who were really fond of her, and I was telling her I'm pretty sure some of my subscribers probably watch her too. Oh, as in Twilight? Twyla. Oh, that's pretty. You like her too, Little Miss Chocolate? Dope. Okay, so what we're not gonna do, I'm gonna delete your channel, but I'm not gonna time you out. But what we really won't do is we're not gonna bring any negative energy here. That's what's not about to happen. So if you want to be negative, just click out and go about your way. Yeah, I'm learning it. I know, y'all. I'm so bad. I really am. I could be better. But yes, my first time using the live control room. Y'all are here with me. Look at this. Y'all, we're doing big things now. I'm learning how to actually function on YouTube because you know I don't know. So hopefully this goes out without a hitch, because I think Brother Sanchez was my first interview on my channel. And then I've had people on my channel, but it's always been by accident. So no. Tommy was my first interview. Tommy Sotomayor was my first interview. And then Brother Sanchez. And I think everybody else I've had on has been like on a panel, kind of. I do a lot of work with BMT too. So I'm excited to have her on today. When I have her on next time, I'm going to even like do like the split screen thing. I called Tommy today. I was like, how do you do the 2 people on the screen at the same time? Because I wanted to know. Yeah, but the negative energy is now gone. Did you change your picture? Oh, I like that picture. That's not the same picture you had before, is it? Okay, let me see. Okay, great. So there are 30 of us here. So if 10 more of you could push the like button, this works out really well because that allows people to filter in. And we're just waiting on her now because I started this live early. And just for the people that are just coming in the room, I don't want y'all to think I'm repeating myself, but I want to be clear. Today is going to be an intro with her. And we're going to have a part 2, which will be more in depth. And then if she's up for it, she'll do some Q&A in part 2. So this part is not going to be like super crazy and long or anything like that. It's going to be a great time for you guys to get in and get out. That it will be. So I'm looking forward to it. And it seems like a lot of you guys are too, because I see a lot of you in the comment section saying that you really do like her. I'm fine, Maximum. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you for asking. Oh, I can see it. Okay, yeah, because I was like, this is not the same picture. This is a new picture, and I like it. It's a pretty picture of you. I really, really like it. So it looks like there are about almost 20 people who haven't liked the video yet. Can you guys all like the video? Pretty please, with cherry on top? Because that's how my subscribers see it. Y'all, I have a lot of subscribers. I don't know where everybody is when I do my lives, but I'm going to start pushing these thumbs up thing because I think the thumbs up has something to do with it. If one day I can get, wouldn't it be great if I could just get 1/3 of my people in the room? We would be in the thousands, y'all. If I could just get 1/3 of all my subscribers in the room at one time, that would be so clutch. I would love to do that. Hello, O'Shea. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So I'm working on it though. It's a weird sort of situation. And again, for those of you just coming in the room, if I could get you guys to thumbs up the video, there's still like 20 people, but I'm telling you, your thumbs up are working because as you guys are thumbs upping the video, more people are able to come into the room. And, oh, hold on. I think she's texting me. Oh, wait. Oh, let me see. She's contacting me. Let me see what's up. Let's see. Let me text the link to her. Oh, you are? Oh, something's wrong. Hold on. Let me... Is that really the link? Oh, I guess so. How is it that she's not, Oh no, we're having link problems. Hold on one second. It seems like she's trying to come on, but she's having a problem with the link I sent her. So let me just make sure I'm doing the right thing because I'm with all y'all. So let me... Let me see what's up.
Okay, hello?
Oh, okay, there you go. So sorry about that.
Oh, okay. It's all good.
All right, everybody is so looking forward to you. Apparently, they all love you.
I love them too. Hi, everybody.
Thanks so much, Mr. Mister. Okay, so the woman of the hour is in the building. As I told you guys before, this is just an intro. It's just a teaser. She's very graciously offered to come on again, but we just wanted to get the taste in your mouth.
Oh my gracious.
Oh no, I know. Sometimes my man and my eldest son are like, "Mom, some of the words you use are very like choose different words, choose different verbiage." So, how are you? You're in New York City right now, right? You have an event going on out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, on the 22nd.
Oh wow! Do you mind just what is the event? And is it?
Oh, it's called Love Without a Limit. It's a meetup that I'm having where we're going to be talking about limitless self-love.
Oh wow, that sounds awesome. Is it still available for people to purchase tickets if they want to come? Or
Yeah, absolutely. On my website, tonyatko.com/events. And the tickets are right there.
so you guys heard it, Tonya Tko /events. And if you're interested and you're in the New York area, she's actually out there right now. So that's pretty cool. Can you, and I know a lot of people here are already familiar with you, can you talk about, because um, you're actually certified in what you do. So can you talk about like what that is and what exactly it is that you're trying to achieve, like through your interaction here on YouTube?
Okay, well, can you ask everyone how my audio is? Because I'm using a headset right now. So
Okay.
just so yeah, how is my audio?
Can you guys all hear her? Can you guys press 1 if you can hear her? Press uno.
And while we're waiting for that, I'll just go ahead and start.
Okay.
I am a certified clinical hypnotherapist, and I'm also a life coach, and I'm a self-love specialist. My specialty is self-love, and I'm an expert in relationships. So relationships through self-love. So like the base for everything starts with the love that you have for yourself. Like every relationship that you would ever get into, whether it's with friends, family, romantic relationship, the relationship that you have with your children, and the relationship that you have with yourself, it all starts with self-love. Like it's the base and the foundation for all other love. So I help people get rid of the blocks to self-love. I help people clear out old baggage. I help people forgive. I help people forget.
How do you do that? How do you, what's the technique that you use, or is it different for every person?
Yeah, well, it's going to be different for each person because there are different reasons why we, okay, so this is the basic setup. And you have children, so you know that children are really, really suggestible. They're suggestible to their parents, authority figures. And one thing that you know about your children and anybody who's ever had children and people who were children themselves, you come into this lifetime with a kind of base. So you come into this lifetime and you have a sort of pre-written kind of script thing going on with your personality. And as a child, you're like a sponge. You take everything in. And you know how they say that children are really good with languages? One of the things that, and if you ask anybody who remembers when they were a child, do you remember ever not understanding what your parents were saying? Like your parents were speaking words to you, but do you ever, and I'll ask you this, do you ever remember a time where your parents were like talking to you when you're a child and you didn't know what they were talking about? Do you ever remember feeling that way?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Okay. Well, when you're really, really young, and I'm talking about just language, not understanding like not understanding like sentiment. Like when you get a little bit older and you start using logic and reasoning, but when you're young, like you're 3, 4 years old and your parents are talking to you, they're going to be using a lot of words that you've never heard before. Is because you come into this lifetime, you've never heard any words. And part of the reason that children are really good with languages is because children pick up on inference, they pick up on tone, they pick up on key, and there's a lot of intuitiveness that's going on with children. So you'll talk to a child, like even like like anybody who's had like a 2-year old, you'll talk to the 2-year old, They'll understand exactly what you're saying, even though sometimes they'll try to pretend like they don't. They understand exactly what you're saying. And part of the reason that they understand is because of all of the different things that are going on, the nonverbal cues. And so I tell that whole entire story because we learn who it is that we believe that we are from the lessons that we learn as children, how we relate and how things relate to us, what place we fall in the family. We learn who's the boss of the family. We learn how to navigate in this family. And along the way, we learn certain things that become our programming, the programming that we have in relationships, the programming that we have on how we navigate in this world. And so when we go out into this world, so like most of our program is already set by the time that we're 8 years old, 8, 9 years old, around that time. That's around the time that the critical mind starts being formed. So everything else you take in as truth. This is how we're able to tell children about Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny and a fairy that comes in through your window and puts money under your pillow and takes your tooth. So, children believe all of these things until they hit about a certain age. And then around 8, 9, then they start using critical reasoning. So a lot of the things that we're doing now as adults are scripts that have been playing and replaying over and over underneath all of our actions from the time that we were 8 years old. So how we act in relationships, how we perform on tests, the type of money that we make, how we relate to sports or eating, or I mean, how many of us, our parents forced us to finish all the food on our plates, and then that created a lifetime of dysfunctional eating until we actually say, well, listen, wait a minute, I don't have to do this way anymore. So me as a hypnotherapist, I help people get in there and rewrite that program so that you can do the things that and achieve the things that you want. Like there's little things like hiding away in there. Like if you've ever done laundry and there was a colored sock inside one of your pockets and you didn't know it was in there, and then your clothes came out pink and you're like, well, what's going on? And you can wash it over and over and over again. But if that sock is still in there, it's just going to keep releasing the same colors into the wash. And so you have to go into each pocket and dig and dive and really do the work to go in there and pull out that red sock. And so that's what I help people do.
Wow, I that was a lot to take in.
Was it?
No, that's so true though. Like I think on some level we recognize our experiences, mold how we approach situations, but even that's kind of set from such an early age, I've never heard anything like that. So I think that is really amazing actually. When we have our talk, we're going to be discussing a lot of issues surrounding women and relationships, and how our perceptions of ourselves and delivery of ourselves as women do or do not affect how we are viewed collectively. And so just off top, and then I'm not gonna keep you. Just off top, do you feel that that women are second-class citizens, that we're heavily sexualized, and do you think that we bear a responsibility in that if those things are the case? Or why do you think those things are not the case if you're of a dissenting sort of view?
Okay. Well, I don't know what your definition of second class citizen is. Um, so
Yeah, that's a good question. Okay, so what I would mean by that is that our voice is less valuable, that we are taken less seriously, that not that we as beings are less valuable than men, and then children, I would say even more so than women. So I guess that I don't know if that was a clear definition or not.
yes, yeah. Well, according to that definition, I do believe that in far too many parts of the world of the globe, that according to that definition, that women are considered second class citizens.
And do you think that's the case here in the United States? And let's say Europe too, because I think I have people from Europe and the States here today.
I guess it depends on the country in Europe because there are some European countries that are pretty progressive. But in the United States, in I would say in much of the world, much in the United States and in much of the developing and developed world, women are considered second class citizens. And I think that it started long ago with the doctrines that we follow regarding religion, how we got onto this world. We got people talking about how women came from a rib. Listen, you know something? Listen. Sorry. My laughter is rude. Please forgive me. Forgive my laughter.
No, it's
But we have people who are adamantly believing against what it is that they're seeing with their own eyes and what it is that they know to be true, that every single human being passes through the gateway of woman on this earth. And if you think about one of my specialties is evolutionary psychology. That's my specialty. That's how I'm a relationship expert because I follow how we've evolved as human beings into relating. So do you know what separates in any species, what separates the male from the female? The female is the one with the larger, less abundant sex cells. The male is the one with the smaller, more profuse, more abundant, has more. So like sperm cells compared to egg. And so in every single species, we've evolved in such a way that the female is the one who every female body in all species is really important because the species cannot continue without the female body. So like way back in the days when people would be like women and children first, part of the reason that they did that is because you can have a population of 1 million women and one man, and that species can continue. If you have 1 million men and one woman, first of all, they would kill themselves and her trying to get to her. You know what I mean? So it's like the population would not continue. They're facing that right now in India and China, where men just don't have anybody to settle down with, and it's causing a lot of violence, suicide, forlornness. It's causing a lot of sociological problems. So yes, I believe that in the United States and in many places. I mean, look, for decades they would kill female babies they would kill female fetuses in China and in India because they wanted these boys and because of the devaluing of a female body. And it's like we got the game all twisted. We got this, oh, a woman is a man's helpmate. Oh, a woman comes from a man's rib. Oh, this, that, and the other. And even I saw one video with this Russian, the guy, he was like a Russian rabbi or something. He was something. He was some sort of Russian religious Orthodox person. And he was like talking about how the woman is beneath the man and all this. And I'm like, these people have really got it twisted because this world cannot continue. This is why when you look at the species, when you look at deer, when you look at all of these mammals, the males have the horns, they have the things, or the pieces on them to help them fight because they have to fight other males to be able to have access to the female body because the female body is very important.
Wait. This flies in the face of that women should compete for men. You know what? I don't want, because this conversation, I can see it will go so many places, but that does fly in the face of women should compete for men. It's you're saying we see exhibited that that's exactly the opposite. Can you follow up on that thought? And then, y'all, I told you this was just going to be a teaser because I know you guys are very excited in the comment section and people are filtering in. But can you just follow up with that thought? And then we're going to leave you guys off. And she's, like I said, agreed to graciously come back. So, yeah.
Yeah, so this is the thing, right? There are a lot of people who use lions as an example of quote unquote the female competing for the male, and it's actually very untrue. It's very untrue. In all of the species, only the alpha male is able to procreate. And one of the things that we have right now that's going on with humans is we have this constriction going on because women are naturally hypergamous, and hypergamy is basically the you know what hypergamy is, right?
Yes.
Okay, so for the people who don't know, hypergamy is basically the inclination that a person has to be with a person of higher social class who has more money, more resources. And so women have evolved to be naturally hypergamous. And we're often compared to animal species like the lions, because you'll see that there will be many females inside of a pride and the females hunt, et cetera, et cetera. However, the male lion is there to produce superior gened offspring. So he actually fights off any other male. It's like the strongest male is the one who heads that pride. And when that lion starts getting too old, he leaves the pride and goes off into the wilderness because just like in the movie The Lion King, there's going to be another.
Well, this is
I'm sorry.
interesting that you're saying because technically you're right. Although there are many female lions to one male, they fight each other for access to those females. The female lions aren't fighting for access to that dominant male. I'd never heard
Right.
of that.
No, they're not fighting for access to him. They're actually, and if you think about it, right? Because and you know what, and this kind of dawned on me recently because I've decided not to wed. I decided not to get married to the options that I had before. And so I'm thinking about where it is that I'm going to go now in my life. And I'm thinking that I would like to start thinking about having a child, having children. And when I started thinking about that, I was like, you know what? Where do I go? What do I do? And who would I mate with in order to be able to have superior gened children? And I started thinking, Neil deGrasse Tyson. Listen,
No, I
listen.
find him fascinating. I can't lie. When he talks, it's a feast.
Right. So women are not naturally hypergamous because we control the population. We control what the population looks like. Part of the reason, I don't know how old your daughters are, but but even people in the audience who are listening, when your daughters are really young and they start talking about which boys in school they like the boys who are tall, the boys who are strong, the boys who can fight, depending on if you're from the ghetto or not, like we are. So we're from the hood. And so, they like the boys who can fight, the boys who are taller, bigger. And part of the reason that this is the way that it is, just naturally ingrained into the female being, is because it's just naturally evolved that way. Human females like males who are on average about 33% larger than the female. This is why men on average are taller and bigger than women, because that's the mating strategy that the women have used in order to be able to keep themselves safe in the olden day when things were not very safe for women. So so yeah, so when we start thinking about whether or not the females compete or have ever competed for males, that's actually very untrue. Like when we start talking about, oh, should men pay for meals, etc., there are birds who, when looking for the female bird to mate with, he'll create an entire house, and then he'll perch himself outside the house and he'll sing his beautiful love song. If you think, look, the male peacock is the one who has the beautiful plumes because he's doing what it is that he can do to attract the female to him for the chance for his genes to pass on. So we could actually change the face of the way the earth looks if we would just employ our natural selective techniques that are already embedded in us and start really mating out some of these MG toe guys and these guys who are like, if we don't like cheating, if we don't like cheaters, stop having children by cheaters. If we don't like people who are aggressive or violent or criminal prone, because there's a part of the brain that that scientists say controls criminality. So there's a part of the brain, because you know the prefrontal cortex is the part that handles logic, reasoning, and decision making. And so when you have less fear for consequences, you're more prone to criminality because you don't fear the consequences of breaking the law and being counterculture. So if you don't like certain characteristics that exist, like I was telling like black women who want to be able to have black children because you know our genes are dominant, and I can understand why anybody would want to mate with black because we are the culmination of everything. We are the originators. We are the first man and woman. So I'm telling women, listen, if you don't like certain traits of these of men who are behaving in a certain way, don't mate with them. Go find yourself a black person of another culture and marry and have children there. And these men will understand how important the human female body is when they have no way to pass on their genes. Like in in with humans, do you know how many do you know what the percentage is of women who will have children, who women who are able to have children who will, versus men who want to have children and are able to who will? The percentage is like almost about I believe the number is about 94% of every woman who wants to have children who's able to have children will, whereas it's in the high 70s, low 80s for men. So it's like not every man who wants to have children is able to have children because he has to go through women in order to be able to bring forth his seed. And part of the problem is that we have some backward mating strategies that are going on right now where we have men who are undeserving of becoming a part of people's family trees passing on their DNA and not being and not providing resources for that child, not protecting and caring for the dropping off his seed. His DNA is living forth in the world. Meanwhile, there's a guy who comes in later in her life who then, then they get together and maybe she's done having children at that point. So unfortunately, and I feel like I'm rambling, so please stop me
No,
if I
no,
am.
no,
Part of part of Okay, so part of the female mating strategy is to find the biggest, strongest alpha male, the guy with the superior DNA, to have children with him. This is why, we have these, like a woman can smell a man's immune system and know whether or not they're a good genetic match. Like she can pick up on scents that can smell his immune system. So part of the ingrained female mating strategy is to mate with that man that really she's overcome with lust for him because like nature just takes over in her body. And then so the mating strategy is to have the child of the biggest, strongest, smartest, fastest, can fight the best, has the most money, have his child, and then have a person and then have another man who is going to invest in those children to take care of the child. So that's been an ingrained female mating, a human female mating strategy.
Okay, so something I want to explore the next time I have you is my audience is very diverse. It strangely, it's from people who have a very traditional standpoint to men who feel very strongly that they bring everything and women just bring their body. But something that you said is something I hear from a lot of men who have come over to my channel from the part of YouTube they like to call the manosphere, which is very hard on women. And that is that women make the choice. And so then they put the hand of accountability for many things that go on in the community at the hands of women because they choose. And until hearing you explain it today, I would have always argued, and I have, that women choose from what is available to them. So our choice is limited. But I would love to explore this more the next time we talk because your talking point is very similar to theirs, but the direction that you are taking it is very different. And I find that extremely fascinating. And I see a lot of men in the chat who too are finding this very fascinating.
Oh, I can't see the chat, but yeah, so I was that a question? Was this an observation?
No, it's more an observation. It's something I want to be able to explore the next time that I have you on, if we can, because I think it kind of plays
Yeah,
what we were talking about earlier about
absolutely.
in society. I'm sorry.
Absolutely. So I'll end on this note. So yeah, it is women who choose. We control what the human population will look like. However, women have been choosing from a disempowered place where see now I'm going to say this, and this is going to be very controversial because women don't really want to hear this, right? As human beings, we are not naturally monogamous. Monogamy is not something that comes naturally to us. So I was talking about Neil deGrasse Tyson earlier, right? And so there should be no reason why I should not be able to have some of his sperm.
He's
It just it does, you know what? If we wanted to really increase the black race, if we really wanted, I'm going to say this and then I'm going to jump out of here and let you fight the people on your own, right? 'Cause I'm going to say this, right? We're not naturally monogamous, and monogamy actually benefits men more than it does women. It actually constricts the population. Like, if we really, it constricts the betterment of the population. Like, if we really wanted to increase what Black America looks like, then we would be handing out Neil deGrasse Tyson sperm, the best men's sperm, and we would really be phasing out a lot of these beta males. Unfortunately, listen, something, I feel so bad saying this. I feel so bad saying this, but this is the truth, right? Like, if we really wanted to change what this the landscape of Black America look like, we would allow mating with the most successful males, the the males who have the most education, most smart, who are most naturally adept. Like, we have a lot of people who talk about men and how broke men deserve love too. Listen, baby, if you have no ambition, that's a personality trait. There's something going on inside of you and your makeup that is stopping you from on your own just being naturally motivated. So in our societies, how it really should look is the elders. The elders are supposed to be raising the children. We're supposed to have children young. The elders are supposed to raise the children. And then when we become elders, like, we're supposed to be in really small communities where the elders have where they have a like, remember we were talking about Europe, I believe in Denmark, they have these villages of single mothers where they cook these huge meals and the children all play together. I talked about this in a video, and this is not politically correct, but we talked about men and protection, and women needing to be protected, and one of the things that I said is, if we didn't have, oh gosh, how do I put this without sounding really politically incorrect? Okay, most of the violence, most of the raping, most of the counterculture behavior that we have that exists in a society, like the stuff that really deteriorates a society, comes forth from males. So if we had communities where there were less of certain types of males and elders who could gather around and take care of youth, we could change the face of what this world looks like right now. That's my final thought.
Well, you have divided. I told you I have a very diverse audience. So you have divided it between women who think this is the most amazing thing they've ever heard and so profound, men who think women need to reclaim their reign. I have subscribers that are in the chat who are like, what is this? What is she saying? What you say is very different from what I say here on this channel. And so I am fascinated by the things that you are saying. I look forward to having you back. You have really gotten everybody's juices going, and in a positive way, because I think it's very important that we hear all viewpoints and have our ideals challenged, people. It is not about being in an echo chamber, and you definitely have not allowed this to be an echo chamber. So I really appreciate you coming today. And to the chat, I hope y'all are looking forward to when she comes back on. I know you guys are going to have your eyes peeled for that because I see y'all are hot. And I mean that in a good way, not in a
Well, I would love to answer a question or two before we got off for the people who are chomping at the bit to ask something. I would love for you to pose that to the audience. What is it that they would like for me to expound upon?
Yeah, so you guys, I see you guys all over the chat. Everett, no, you can't, but if you have a question for her, why don't you type it into the chat? So you guys saw the invites open. We can take a couple of questions for those of you who have questions.
Yeah, and so for you, what would be your biggest question while we're waiting for one from the audience?
Okay, so I have one from Terrence B, who's having a hard time with what he's hearing. My biggest question would be, when I hear you talk, like I said, it's a talking point that I hear from men, but coming from a different perspective to demean women. When you make the same argument, it's to uplift women. So if women are only choosing the best of the best men, does the man then have the ability to reject the women he thinks are beneath him because he knows he's one of the best of the best? And after you answer that, Terrence, I'm gonna pose your comment to her to see what her feedback is on it as well.
Well, anybody has the ability to reject anyone. However, you see, when it comes to creating, see now we're not talking about a monogamous committed relationship. What we're talking about is mating. And so it's unnatural to the male mating strategy to deny a healthy female his semen. It's unnatural. You smile at a man for too long and he's ready to mate with you. So
you think at its space level, it wouldn't necessarily happen because they're built with lots of seed to spread, and so it would be against their nature to not spread
exactly.
that seed.
As
Okay.
long as she's healthy looking, I mean, as long as she's healthy looking, a man will mate. Because you know what? Because parental investment is very small for a man. All he has to do is squirt, and that's his contribution right there. A woman has to carry a child for 9 months and then endure extreme pain and near death in order to give birth to a child. All he has to do is squirt, and it feels good to squirt too. So.
So Terrence, he feels very strongly because, full transparency, I always speak very traditionally. So Terrence, he likes my channel. I think he was saying earlier because he likes um, that traditional stance that I take. So he was saying that he feels, and I think this is based on an assumption, and you can validate or invalidate it, that we should be coming together and not attacking men. He feels like this is an attack on men. And he also said, to keep it in context, why should he choose you or any woman based on the worldview that you're setting forth right now?
You see, Terrence is probably one of those men that need to be mated out.
Oh, no.
Sorry. Listen to what it is that he's saying. If he feels that the conversation that we've been having today, just presenting evolutionary data, facts, and statistics, if he feels that that's an attack on men, there's something going on inside of him that's kind of cattywampus. Just not, where was the attack? I would love for him to state what it is that he felt was an attack, because there's some stuff that's some emotional stuff that's coming up inside of him that has nothing to do, has no bearing on reality. So I would love for him to state what he felt was an attack.
Maximum Black said he wants to know why you're so cold. I asked him, what does he mean by cold? He said, it's just cold to say to get rid of so many lives. So it's essentially the idea of breeding out inferiority.
Yeah.
He feels that's cold. He said, why so cold? Why take that stance?
Why so cold? So listen, see, this is another one that I'm talking about. And see, this is the thing. I read this thing yesterday, right, on Facebook, and it said that men are going to regret stating that women should be more logical. And I think that men really benefit from the illogic of women. Most of the children that are born today are born from the illogic of women. And and men benefit from that. Men benefit from women thinking they can change a man, from seeing his potential, from they benefit from the foolishness. And so, of course, so he thinks that stating just the reality of where it is that we are as humans, he thinks that that's cold because based on emotion and wanting the illogic. But I'm not going to state something that's just genetically illogical. It just doesn't make any sense. What we're doing right now in terms of humping and hoping for the best is not making sense for where it is that we want to go. So why so cold? Because I'm looking at things from an evolutionary standpoint, and evolution doesn't have emotion. Evolution doesn't have, like, when you look at the Animal Channel, you know what I saw the other day? I saw a lion chew on the belly of a hippo that it had just killed, and it pulled out the fetus. And there were people looking on in horror. And the lion pulled that fetus over to the side behind a tree and ate. It's like nature doesn't, I would say nature doesn't have the emotion and the personality that we may be seeking. And so, listen, I don't know. Listen, nature is cold.
Are you open to taking just two more questions?
Sure, sure.
Okay, so Strong Black Women Unite said, let me get back to your comment. She feels that you're pushing population control based on scientific racism.
Okay.
Do you
Well,
think that is the case?
we're entitled to our point of view. Listen, like I said, one man and a million women, and the population and the species can continue. We just have a better caliber of offspring.
Terrence said, so are you suggesting that our partners should be essentially a math problem over learning who they are on the inside? So are we looking for simply an equation of what makes a person best, or are we looking at the inner human? I think is the question that he's asking.
Well, you know what? I guess it really depends, because I do believe that and you know what? I don't think I'm not sure if Strong Black Women Unite, if population control is what she was really meaning. Because population control is when you do mass murders and you only allow the elites to live. Now, I'm not talking about murdering anyone, like how one person was like, why so cold? You're talking about eliminating so many lives. Your life is not lost. You get to live a full, nice life until you're 80 or 90. Well, if you're not married or coupled with a woman, you live less time. But still, we're not talking about the end of your life. We're talking about really gearing the human race towards being better than it is that we are right now. So am I talking about a math problem? No, I'm really talking about women using logic and deductive reasoning to choose their partners with more scrutiny, with more logic, because a lot of the choices that we're making right now are illogical.
Well, I do agree with the idea of responsible procreation. I did say two questions, just one last question, and then we're going to cut this off and leave the rest till next time, you guys, because I felt this was a really good question. Stephen Scott asked, so a world with a diverse female population from poor to good, but a male population with only good, what about the mating between good males and subpar females?
I don't,
So I think he's saying you're saying that women should seek to only mate with superior males, but what about males being in a position where they have to mate with sometimes inferior females or subpar, as he put it?
yeah, that's a really good question. See, and the unfortunate part is that there are some womb holders who are, yeah, who are not, listen, who have some severe issues, and I suppose, it would balance it out. Listen, we all have to make the decisions of who it is that we choose to be with. And there are going to, now listen, it's interesting that there's a man asking that question, right? Because I would love to ask him if everybody that he stuck his penis into was a superior female. Because if we look at what's going on out there nowadays, men just aren't making the choices of, where to plant their seeds. They're just planting their seeds anywhere. So if we're talking about being in a committed monogamous relationship, that's one thing. If we're talking about donating your seed, that's another. That's a whole other, and that's an amazing question because according to my theory, right, with the elders raising the children, really we probably wouldn't couple up until, if we chose to, until we became elders ourselves. But while we're still young, we would just be procreating and creating the best genetic pool that we could create. In terms of men dropping their seed in inferior women, you don't have to. Don't do it. If your penis is not able to work for a particular type of woman, please don't force yourself to do anything. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Well, I really appreciate this. I think everybody, whether they approve or disapprove of what they're hearing, and many people, it's literally down the middle. It's like 50-50 with these people of who are with it and who are not with it. And it's also diverse because it's not all men who are against it. Some women are. It's not all women who are for it. I see some men who are for that that mode of thought too. So I think that we will all be looking forward to when you grace us with your presence again. I really appreciate everything you said today. I think it's challenged a lot of people, and I'm in the chat and I'm talking to them, and I think it's good that we have our ideals challenged and that we hear different perspectives. You said a lot of things today I've never considered or heard, and so I appreciate that. Thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. And I know some of my ideas sound a little crazy, but when you sleep on it tonight, you'll probably have some epiphanies.
Possibly so, possibly so. I definitely gleaned some things from it, and it gave me a lot to think about. And if nothing else, it's good to have your thought process sparked, and that cannot always happen in a conversation where we are all agreeing and nobody's
Yeah.
bringing anything new to the table to ponder. So,
Well, I
yeah,
want to know your two biggest takeaways before we get off, because you said that you encountered some ideas that have you thinking. What are your two biggest takeaways? And then we'll jump out of here.
yeah. So the first one was, like I said, this idea of women choosing men and even reproducing with the same men in some cases, if the quality of the men is great enough. I find that very fascinating, and that's something I'm going to ponder a little bit more because I've heard the same rhetoric with a different end. Do you know what I mean? Coming from males.
Saying what though? That's the part that's confusing to
Yeah,
me
so
because I haven't heard that.
the same idea that women have control over the womb.
Hmm.
So and that they should choose better. But I've heard that not use because you're coming at it from a we can improve society and we can change the landscape of society and even drive men to do better, right? If we only
Hmm.
choose more selectively a certain type of man. And I hear men saying the same thing. Um, it's not all men, but some men saying the same thing, but their end is then so everything that's wrong with society falls on the woman. because she has control over the womb and can decide who to open or close her legs to. So to see the same thought process come to two different ends, one to the improvement of society and one to the blaming of women for the things that are wrong in society, I think is very interesting. Also, the second thing that was very interesting to me is that you do hear the analogy to the lion's maid, right? I'm not huge on human-animal comparisons, but it is. I never thought when I hear that on the surface, it does sound like the women are pandering to the male. But the reality is that the men basically attack each other and fight for access to the women. So it's a bad analogy. And I guess I don't know why that's sticking in my mind, but it definitely is. And also, you were making some other comparisons about the collection of beautiful things, the building of a home, the ostentatious appearance of animals like the peacock, all in the attempt to attract the woman. And so, I found that all just very interesting, and those would be my two major takeaways just off the top that just are coming out of my heart that I think I'll be pondering tonight. And you're giving me a lot to think about the next time we talk, because I didn't know what you were going to say, and you've said a lot, and you've moved a lot of people. You really have. You've got a lot of people. I see their minds are moving. And
Okay, wonderful.
yeah.
All right. Well, I look forward to talking with you all again in the future. Thank you so much for having me, everyone. Please visit my website at tonyatko.com. I am pre-selling my book on self-love as well as my book of self-love affirmation. So that's tonyatko.com.
Thank you so much. You have a nice evening.
Okay. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye-bye. Okay, you guys. So yes, there we go. That was, I didn't know what she was going to say. And honestly, that was so interesting to me. And I saw you guys in the chat. I want to first of all thank you guys for being overall very respectful. I think it's really important, especially in the Black community, that we be able to have conversations with people who do not share the same viewpoints as us, that have views that may be in opposition to where we personally stand as people. And so I really enjoyed having her on. I'm looking forward to our next conversation. I want to thank you guys for being generally very respectful in the comment section and for genuinely asking questions. That's the vibe I want. Everybody that I bring here to my channel, it is not about agreeing with them. I want to bring people here that challenge the belief systems. I know a lot of people, even though my audience is very diverse and we all come from a different belief and value system, I want us to be challenged and our minds to be sparked by a conversation. And that can't happen if we're all just hoeing and humming and agreeing and backpatting each other and stuff like that. So it was very great of her to come out. She said a lot of stuff. I can see y'all now going back on the playback. And I found it also interesting, the interpretation that so many of you guys had with regard to what she was saying. The interpretation of the words that were coming out of her mouth was very fascinating to me too. So that I liked. I definitely liked that. And I am very happy. And Everett, I wear lipstick from time to time. You said I'm wearing lips now. I wear lipstick from time to time. If you look through my videos, I don't wear it a lot, but I definitely do wear it. So with that said, yeah, Jonas, that's really sweet. My man actually doesn't like lipstick, so he prefers, if I wear it, he prefers that it be in a natural color, which is why you guys see me almost all the time with a very natural look, because that is what he prefers. So yeah, but I wear it every now and again for me. So yeah, because I like the color, but I don't wear it often. It was interesting. Exactly, Letty. That's exactly the point, is that we have to be open to hearing other people's viewpoints and talking points. As a Christian, and she's not pro-Christianity, and that's okay with me. But as a Christian, I like to look into what other people believe. So, for example, I am not a Trinitarian. I just believe there is one God who manifested himself in the flesh and lives in us as the Holy Spirit. I know that there are Trinitarians out there. I have no problem with having a conversation with a Trinitarian. I have the desire to understand what they believe. I'm a Christian, and a lot of Christians in the crowd will frown upon this, but my man is a Muslim. And so I am fascinated by what they believe. This will not change my relationship with God, but it's very important for us to understand where other people are coming from and hear their viewpoints, you guys. That's essential. So she shared her heart with us. She shared her mind with us. And it was a lot to take in. Like, she was dropping a lot of things that I gleaned from and things I disagreed with. But see, we don't have to agree with every word that comes out of a person's mouth. We don't have to. So, cerulean. Yeah, Letty, he really doesn't like red. And I like to red. So this is like a darker red. I only have two lipsticks. I have this color and I have a red. If you guys see whenever I wear a red shirt or something like that, you'll see in my videos, I wear a red lipstick. He hates it. Oh, he hates it. So I don't wear a lot of makeup anyway. I don't wear foundation or any of that kind of stuff. I just like some mascara, and I put on bronzer. It's the same color as my skin, but it makes me look all sparkly. And I'll do my brows, and I'll just put on a lip gloss. So I wear basically three things in lip gloss. And every once in a while, I'll put on some lipstick. But my man does not like makeup, so I rarely wear makeup. That's why y'all always see me and I look very plain because that's his preference. That's what he likes to see. So I try to present myself in the way that he likes to see me. So I was with her right to the point where she lost her mind. Maximum, be nice. I want her to know when she comes here, she'll be respected. I want my platform to have the reputation of being a place that people can come and we don't have to agree with them, but we'll be respectful of them. I think that's essential because we'll never be able to, and I know y'all are going to say, those of you who were at Nyla's panel with the gay person, that I really failed at that when I called being homosexual demonic, but I really did my best. I didn't make any personal attacks on her personally. I was just speaking of the sexuality in general, but I want to be able to have people come here that have different views. It's important to me. I like to engage people who don't think the way that I do. And I think as a community, if we're going to grow and move forward as a community, we have to be able to engage people who don't think the way we do, or we'll have no unity. Do you know what I mean? So I think that that is essential. So with that said, he is American, yes. Thank you so much, David. I really appreciate that. And I thank you guys. I know a couple of people got overwhelmed and they were like, I've got to leave. And that's fine. If you feel it's overwhelming, I disengage too if I'm overwhelmed with something that I'm hearing. But I appreciate those of you that stayed, and I appreciate you sharing your thoughts in the comments. I really do. I don't care that you disagree with me or my guests. Everybody knows I don't care about that. As long as we're respectful, I think it's important that I hear what you guys have to say, even if it's in contradiction to myself or one of my guests. No, I didn't. Oh, I didn't go over there contradicting myself, Mr. I don't like the gays. So that's what I said, you know. I'm comfortable. I'm not the most politically correct person, but I'm comfortable with that stance. I just don't bring gay people onto my channel because I don't want to disrespect somebody on my channel. So I think I could have almost anybody on my channel as a guest. I don't know that I would bring a gay person here as a guest, though, because I know that I think that they're mentally ill. And so, yeah. So things I'm doing tonight. I may be doing another live tonight simply because I don't want to record a video. And it's about, I did a panel last night with Black Male Talk. And it was about, I don't know if you guys heard about it, the woman who was at a social services office trying to get childcare so that she could work. And she sat on the floor and she was holding her 1-year-old child. And 5 to 7 police officers ended up in a confrontation where she was in the fetal position on the ground and they were ripping her baby out of her arms. It reached a point where the people around were so horrified, they turned tasers toward the crowd to keep them from helping her. And so I don't feel like recording that video. So I'm probably going to cut this short and then I'm going to go live right away on that topic just because, y'all, it's easier for me to not record a video. And then the other video I have going up is my take on the Zaza Ali thing. I don't care about the money, y'all. I care about the human aspect of it. And so I'm going to throw that up as well. So if you guys want to see the video, if you haven't, but I warn you, that video is very disturbing of them ripping this little baby out of her arms. Like, I almost cried and I just stopped it. I didn't watch it all the way through. So I'll be playing the whole thing for the first time with you guys because I just had a hard time watching it. And so I had to stop it. So I'm about to go live with that now. And I thank you guys all for coming out. Oh, I can keep you woke till then. Okay, CRU. All right, so I will see you guys in about 5 minutes on my next live regarding this woman and what the police did. And we're going to just talk about that really quick. I won't make that one super, super long. Like I said, it's just going to be a live version of the video I would have done if I wasn't just a little bit lazy on the editing tonight. So I'll see you guys in about 5 minutes right here. Not here at this link, but you know, right here on my channel, y'all. Okay, bye-bye.